Welcome to Station 5. This section of the presentation will provide additional details on the alternatives development and evaluation process described in the Station 4 presentation. As noted earlier, the purpose and need statement described in Station 3 provides the basis for alternatives evaluations. To review, several common design elements were included in all of the improvement options for Laraway Road. These are 1. Widening and reconstruction of Laraway Road from 1 to 2 through lanes in each direction. 2. Providing for future pedestrian and bicycle accommodations on the north side of Laraway Road. 3. A grade separation between Laraway Road and the Union Pacific Railroad crossing. The graphic shows one of 4 options that were considered. 4. A new signal-controlled intersections planned by the City of Joliet about a third of a mile east of the railroad. This future road along existing right-of-way, being studied by others, will be Marcella Avenue. 5. The recommended grade separation between Laraway Road and the railroad requires the existing service roads that provide access to the railroad and a lift station to be replaced. 6. The lift station, located northeast of the railroad grade crossing, moves wastewater from a lower elevation to a higher elevation. The new service roads will require additional right-of-way. 7. Intersection improvements at Route 53. The common elements, excluding the Route 53 intersection, were combined to develop 4 alternatives for the Laraway Road corridor that physically separate the railroad tracks from Laraway Road. Each of the 4 alternatives considered include reconstruction and widening of Laraway Road. This slide provides another perspective of the 4 grade separations. The left side shows options to change the elevation of Laraway Road to go over or under the railroad. On the right side are options to change the elevation of the railroad to go over or under Laraway Road. We will now look at each one of the grade crossing alternatives separately. For the Laraway Road over existing Union Pacific Railroad alternative, Laraway would bridge over 3 railroad tracks as well as north-south maintenance roads that run parallel to the tracks. New service roads would need to be constructed to access the railroad and the City of Joliet's lift station. These new roads would impact land to the south of Laraway Road. For the Laraway Road under existing Union Pacific Railroad grade separation, the roadway would tunnel under the 3 railroad tracks and railroad service roads. The lowering Laraway Road would be a challenge and would require a new pumping station to remove rainwater that accumulates. Underground utilities within the area would also need to be relocated, including any portion of the City of Joliet's sewage lift station that currently passes below Laraway Road. The railroad bridges would be constructed to accommodate 3 sets of tracks and railroad maintenance roads on both sides. Service roads would need to be constructed to access the railroad bridges over Laraway Road from both sides and the City of Joliet's lift station. These new roads would impact land to the south of Laraway Road. For the Union Pacific Railroad over existing Laraway Road grade separation, approximately 1.5 miles of triple railroad track and the railroad spur into Center Point would need to be raised and reconstructed. During reconstruction, the railroad would need to remain in operation, requiring temporary railroad tracks to be constructed. Service roads would need to be constructed to access the railroad bridges over Laraway Road from both sides. The railroad bridges would need to be constructed to accommodate Laraway Road widening and reconstruction. For the Union Pacific Railroad under existing Laraway Road grade separation, approximately 1.5 miles of triple railroad track and the railroad spur into Center Point would need to be lowered and reconstructed below grade. During reconstruction, the railroad would need to remain in operation, requiring temporary railroad tracks. This option is the most challenging grade separation to construct since it would require not only the lowering of the three sets of tracks and a spur, but would also likely require a pumping station to remove rainwater that accumulates. In addition, underground utilities within the area would need to be relocated. This includes any portion of the city of Joliet's sewage lift station that currently passes below the tracks. Service roads would need to be constructed to access the railroad under Laraway Road from both sides. The railroad would need to be constructed to accommodate Laraway Road widening and reconstruction. Reviewing the findings from Station 4, all four alternatives address the project purpose and need. Adding an additional lane in each direction, along with providing a railroad grade separation, will reduce existing and future delays caused by the existing at-grade railroad crossing and lack of roadway capacity. Safety will be improved by the elimination of conflicts between trains and vehicles. Network freight reliability will improve due to the elimination of extended railroad gate closures. While all four mainline alternatives meet purpose and need and represent a substantial improvement in mobility and safety over the existing condition, the alternative that bridges Laraway Road over the existing Union Pacific Railroad would have the smallest transportation footprint or construction area. This road raised over rail alternative would also have the least drainage and utility conflicts, the least overall impact, would be easiest to construct, and would have a lower comparable cost than the other alternatives. The alternatives raising and lowering the railroad tracks have more substantial impacts. The key features of the alternative recommended to be carried forward for Laraway Road include Laraway Road bridging over the existing Union Pacific Railroad. As previously mentioned, service roads would be constructed to provide access to the Union Pacific Railroad and lift station that would impact land south of Laraway Road. Laraway Road would be widened and reconstructed, future pedestrian and bicycle accommodations provided, and the new Marcella Avenue signalized intersection constructed. Shifting to the final design component of the study, the Route 53 intersection. Different configurations were considered at the Route 53 intersection to address eastbound delays based on future traffic conditions. These included traditional signal-controlled intersections with different lane configurations, roundabouts, and continuous flow intersections. IDOT is working on a separate study of Illinois Route 53. That study is targeted at using limited funds to address near-term traffic needs. However, the red line shows the forecast year 2050 afternoon peak period backups in the eastbound direction, extending from Route 53 to past the railroad tracks, if just the short-term improvements are made to the intersection. The short-term improvements will not address long-term needs. This slide shows all of the configurations that were considered to improve the Illinois 53 intersection. The arrows show the traffic movements by direction. The red arrows represent a new traffic movement. The blue arrows show lanes that would need to be reconstructed to accommodate changes to the configuration. Several of these intersections were grouped together to simplify the discussion. Configurations 2 to 4 add eastbound and westbound dual left turn lanes along Laraway Road. In addition, configurations 1 to 4 assume Laraway Road would be 2 lanes in each direction west of Route 53. They differ based on the number of lanes approaching the Route 53 intersection in the eastbound direction. Configuration 4 has the greatest number of eastbound approach lanes and includes 2 left turn lanes, 2 through lanes, and 1 dedicated right turn lane. In the westbound approach to Route 53, Laraway Road would have dual left turn lanes, a single through lane, and a dedicated right turn lane. There would be no improvements to Route 53. Roundabouts were also considered. However, all of the roundabout design options operated poorly due to the high truck volumes along both of these routes. In fact, the traffic operations performed substantially worse than the planned short-term improvements. Configurations 6A, 6B, and 6C use an innovative design treatment that flips the direction of left-turning traffic to the other side of the road as it approaches the intersection. By doing so, left turns and through traffic can move through the main intersection at the same time. These types of intersections generally operate better than a traditional intersection design, but they need a lot of roadway width, requiring right-of-way purchases and impacting adjacent land use development and access. Lastly, traditional signalized intersection improvements were considered that would not only improve Laraway Road, but add features to Route 53. The foundation for these options was Configuration 4, which, as you may recall, improved Laraway Road by providing east and westbound dual left turn lanes and dedicated right turn lanes. The number of through lanes varied by direction. There would be 2 through lanes for eastbound travel and 1 through lane for westbound travel. The additional features to Route 53 beyond those already mentioned include, for Configuration 7 along Route 53, the single left turn lanes were changed to dual left turn lanes that would be constructed within the existing median area. Configuration 8 adds an additional lane along Route 53. And Configuration 9 adds both dual left turn lanes on Route 53 and an additional lane in each direction. Improvements of Route 53 need to take into consideration the existing flooding at the Route 53 and Laraway Road intersection. This flooding adds complexity to the intersection configurations that include widening Route 53. Based on a review of existing conditions, roadside drainage ditches regularly fill with water that overtops the Route 53 pavement. The center median also floods, with water on the pavement after major storms. As a result, configurations that widen Route 53 will require more extensive improvements to reduce flooding impacts, correct drainage patterns, and prevent flooding. In addition, it should be mentioned that this section of Route 53 is entered on the National Register of Historic Places. Route 53 was originally marked Route 66. The proposed improvement will minimize impacts to sensitive environmental resources. Future intersection delays during the afternoon rush hour were evaluated across all the configurations. As you can see, the results vary significantly by configuration. Analyzing data for the afternoon rush hour, also known as the peak traffic period, is a way to understand how traffic would operate during the worst case scenario each day. Meeting the project needs to reduce delay and improve freight network reliability must be balanced with understanding how different designs may impact the natural and built environment. In addition, large intersections with more lanes become difficult for pedestrians and cyclists to cross. As shown in Station 4, this slide brings together both the traffic operations and other evaluation criteria we've discussed. Of the configurations considered for Laraway Road at Route 53, 3 are recommended to be carried forward. These intersection options achieve a balance between providing good mobility during most periods of the day without over-designing to the point where the intersection becomes too large for pedestrians to navigate. A couple observations. Configuration 6A, 6B, and 6C, which were the innovative intersection treatments, would perform well. However, they require significantly more right-of-way than the other configurations and are overall much larger. The designs also change how drivers would access existing and future land use near the intersection. Configurations 8 and 9 included widening Route 53, which would also require extensive drainage improvements and potentially greater impacts to a highway on the National Register of Historic Places. In conclusion, for this detailed look at the alternatives evaluation, intersection configurations considered, 3 are recommended to be carried forward to a future study. These are configurations 3, 4, and 7. For more information about the alternatives recommended to be carried forward for further study, including configurations 3, 4, and 7, please see Station 4. Thank you for your time reviewing these materials. We hope you found this presentation helpful and encourage you to visit the other stations to learn about how the project was developed and what alternatives are being recommended for further consideration. Please comment and provide your thoughts, concerns, and overall feedback. You can submit your comments online by visiting the project website or emailing the CMAP contacts provided. You can also mail comments by filling out the comment form included in the project brochure. The brochure contains information about the project and a summary of the alternatives recommended for further consideration. Comments received or postmarked by April 30th will become part of the official project summary. CMAP will also host a live Zoom meeting about the Laraway Road project on April 14th, 2021 at 6 p.m. to provide an opportunity for you to chat with the project team and ask questions. Registration for the public meeting is available on our project site, https://engage.cmap.illinois.gov/laraway-road-at-union-pacific-railroad-crossing. Thank you.